Hello and good day. It's an honor to be with you today. And on the Wealth Building Academy Livestream, I want to just share some content with you, some knowledge, wisdom that you can use as we finish this year off strong. Now, you may be asking, why so soon? It's just August. Well, really, it's almost September. And part of the reason why I'm talking about finishing off 2021, the year financially strong, is because the sooner we get the process started, the better. Again, I'm your host, Paul Lawrence Van. I'm a financial strategist, financial coach, and I work with clients. I have courses, online courses. So I'm a course creator, and I also host Wealth Academy podcast. But today, what I'm going to be talking about is how to finish the year off financially strong and give you some reasons why you should do so. I also want to let you know that you can provide comments. If you have any questions, just post them in the comment area, and I'll be able to address those for you. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to starting the year off strong financially is for us to take inventory of the wins and the lessons that we've learned thus far this year. We can also make a comparison to what things were like last year this time, which we know was the really the heart and foundation of COVID-19 and the pandemic. So it affected everyone's financial, mine and yours and others as well. So let's talk about that a little bit to take inventory of it. And you need to ask yourself, what am I doing today that I did differently last year? And look at your finances to see what type of position you found yourself in, and have you grown from that? Have you actually gotten better, paying those debts off and getting those credit cards paid off, working on those student loans because a lot of that has been forgiven? And the number one thing that we all have to be concerned with is if we get sick and we go to the doctor, do we have the medical care to be able to pay for the surgery or the hospital visit that we have to make? And that's also including COVID-19 as a result of the pandemic. So we want to be able to take inventory of our wins and what did we learn for it. So my homework to you is for you to just sit down and look at where you were in 2020 and fast forward it to 2021 to see if you're doing better. And that's always good because we want to finish this year strong, and we can put some strategies in place to help us all to become better. And the reason why we want to finish the year financially strong is because we just don't know what's coming in 2022. And so we want to start now assessing where we are, looking at our assets, looking at our debts, and then trying to find out what is our net worth and finding ways to save money and put it away in emergency fund and much, much more. So we started out with taking inventory of our wins and lessons from the previous year. So now let's talk about maintaining a positive outlook. And we're going to preface that by saying financial. What are we having a positive outlook? Are we looking at different ways in which we can save money? Are we putting together a plan, a financial plan in terms of how much money do we want to save and how much we want to go to the emergency account? We also want to talk about entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs, what ways are you able to generate more revenue to help your business as we go forward? Of course, we know that we lost a lot of small businesses as a result of the pandemic. And the same token, a lot of new businesses were started as well by employees who do not plan on going back to their employer to work for them because they're really asking that question, what's in it for me? Which to me is a great question to ask. So as an entrepreneur or small business owner, you really need and want to look at how you can generate more revenue, bring in a little bit more to stabilize your business. There are a lot of programs out there that the government is offering, and a lot of people are providing monetary assistance, entrepreneurship for startups, and even more. So our second reason for finishing financially strong is to maintain a positive outlook. And then next, number 3, we want to talk about don't wait until 2022 to get started. The time is now because we do not know what's going to happen next year. We know that currently here in the U.S. that we're dealing with a lot of the vaccines. Some people want to be vaccinated, some don't. And then those who've been vaccinated are also given an opportunity to take a booster shot. So with these things that are taking place, you also have to factor in your financials because your financials are so important. And how do you go about life on a daily basis? What is your housing like? If you're renting, we know that there's been a moratorium on people not being put out of their house and or their apartments. And of course, we know that the burden is on the lien holder for those properties, both the apartment building itself as well as the single family home or duplex, whatever it may be. The owners of this and the managers of this are on the hook for it. And we know that someday it's going to come out of those taxes. There's no way around that. So we don't want to wait for next year, but we want to start now putting together a budget, a financial plan, and then also looking at ways of becoming debt-free. Because once we become debt-free, we don't want to go back and recreate the same. In other words, that quote, if you're in a hole, stop digging. And for us financially, when we're in a hole financially, stop digging. In other words, stop adding debt onto what you have because the weight of that will cause a lot of problems. One of them will be problems with anxiety, with stress, with depression, because the weight of that financial burden is weighing so heavily on you. And so, as I state with my podcast, wealth is more than just money. Your well-being and mine also depends on the financial status that we are today. And that financial status for us is to ensure that we're able to take care of our needs, having a roof over the head, medical care, food to eat, and if you have children, taking care of your children, or you have an elderly parent or in-law, you want to be able to help them out as well. So we need to position ourselves to get ready for it now. And that's not me looking too far ahead, but what it really is looking at ways in which we can position ourselves so that we won't incur life challenges that overwhelm us. And it's really a really major problem in the United States, again, with poverty being at about 10.5% of the total population of a little bit over 330 million people. So we have 10.5% of those people who are in poverty. And we're also, through research, finding out that even 6-figure owners and 7-figure earners, that they also are having challenges with their money because they don't have the financial literacy and the financial intelligence to be able to know when too much debt is enough, trying to keep up with the Joneses, because they have a gated community that you need to be there and you don't. You don't need a luxury import. You really don't need that. And then purchasing things that you really don't need, but rather something you want because you're trying to make up for things that you didn't receive in your youth. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. If anybody's I'm pointing the finger at, it's myself. Because I've had my journey on this financial path as well. And it hasn't all been, sugar and honey, milk and honey. It's been a challenge. And I finally got myself in a position where I'm financially free, and I'm thankful for it. And I want other people to experience it as well. So far we talked about taking inventory of our wins or the lessons learned. Then I talked about maintaining a positive outlook towards your money financially. And also don't wait for a new year, because we know how the New Year's resolutions work. If we're lucky, they work for 30 days. And since February is only 28, it doesn't even last 30 days, a month. So we have to look at what we can do now to help ourselves out. And then we want to remain financially flexible. That's number 4. By remaining financially flexible, it allows us to say we don't want to pay Paul so we can pay Peter. But what we want to do is be very exacting in terms of how we pay off our debt. In other words, I use that approach: find the lowest bill that you have, a debt that you have, and pay that one off, and accelerate the payments on that. It not only when you accelerate them, but it will also help your credit score as well, because that's a factor as well. So we want to be able to do that and then look at the next lowest bill and likewise do the same thing for that. And when you pay that one off, do not go back and start charging on these cards again. Just try to give it a little bit of a window, a little holiday, taking a break away from all the spending. And because credit cards themselves is basically just a loan for the bank for about 25 days. And so you don't want to keep giving the bank some money. You want to pay yourself first. So you may add more money into your savings or emergency fund. That's actually the best way to approach it. But remain financially flexible. And when you see that you've gotten to the point where you get those credit card bills paid off, and you have an auto loan, try to get that paid off next. Just slowly but surely pay a little bit extra on the principal of that outstanding balance. And over time, you will have that paid off. And so let's go to number 5, which is develop some new habits and commit to the process. And what this really entails is really a mindset issue here. It's all about changing our vision for where we see our finances in the future. That future may be a month away from now, it could be 6 months from now, or a year. But you want to start taking a look at the habits that you have, that you're not going in purchasing things that you really don't need, or just wasting money for the sake of it, because over time, it always comes back on you. You never know when there's another emergency, medical emergency, could be with the children, it could be with student loans, whatever it happens to be. You always want to position yourself that when the next event comes up and life challenge comes up, that you can readily address it without stressing yourself out. What I'm talking about here, people, is this. You and I must ensure that we take care of our mind, our body, our spirit, and our soul. We were not meant to live with depression, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, especially financial overwhelm. We have more than enough to make it throughout the course of our life, but we have to give ourselves a fighting chance. And that fighting chance is giving us hope for a better financial future. And that's part of what I do, and the reasons why you should finish your year off financially strong. Now, you can discover more about my online course, which is Discover Money Mindset Strategy. You see it on the little ticker here, and you can go there and learn more about what I do to help people. And you can also reach me by email at info@paulvanspeaks.com. I'm a professional speaker, and I have been for years, and so that's my email. Now, I also, at this time, want to talk to you about some other things as we finish this year off strong. That's right, you and I together. And it's this. We want to look at, with the last 4 months of this year ahead of us, starting next week, we want to budget for holiday expenses. And so if we can go out right now when they're actually Black Friday sales, even in July, August, September, to go on and make some purchases for gifts you're going to buy for yourself and for your family or for friends, because oftentimes you can get it for a lower price. So here's another tip: just budget for holiday expenses. My parents and some others that are a little bit more mature or aged, as we say, used to have a Christmas savings plan. Well, you can create your own Christmas savings plans yourself, and you'll be able, at the end of the year, you'll be able to go out and get those gifts. But you can do that now, because now Macy's is going to start having Toys R Us. If you happen to have children, where you can purchase toys for your children, or if you're going to go out and do some early shopping for your spouse, for yourself, family members, etc. So budget for holiday expenses, and then start researching winter travel if you so choose to travel during the wintertime. I oftentimes would travel back before I had a family, before I had children, and I would travel to different countries because it costs less to get there. Like, for example, I spent one Christmas in Spain. I went to Madrid, Spain. I had some friends there, so I spent some time with them. Another time I went to Bermuda. And so I would go get the tickets early in the year, go travel over there and just have the time of my life and experience what Christmas is like in another country, which I think is really a great experience to have. And then looking into end of year tax planning. This is very important because you're going to have to pay taxes one way or the other, especially for small business owners, entrepreneurs. You're going to have to pay taxes. So ensure that you account for this at year's end. And then make a plan for your year-end bonus or raise. If you happen to get one, then take that, put it away into a savings account or emergency funds, and you'll start out the new year much better than you would have in the past if you had not addressed this issue then. And then take stock of your health. Oh my goodness. I can go on and on about this, but your health and mine is very important. We only have but one life to live, and we must not only sustain but maintain our physical bodies, and that includes our mind, body, spirit, and our soul. But we have to really get up each day, condition maybe 30 minutes. Let's give it 30 minutes as a minimum, and maybe do some stretching exercises, go out for a short walk, ride your stationary bike, do some yoga, meditation, prayer, start with prayer, and eat healthy, get plenty of sleep, and don't allow your children to stress you out like I stressed my parents out, right? And so now it's coming back on me. But so that's very important, your health. And then also reassess your money goals. We all need to have money goals. Let's say, for example, if we have a goal of saving, let's say $2,000 between now, August 25th, until December 31st, and that's a good goal. It's a good start and a way to help get you into a normal habit of doing so, so that you can live your best life financially. So that's most important. So one of the last things I'm going to do is just go over the 5 items that I did earlier, that I shared earlier. And number 1 is to take inventory of the wins and lessons from the previous year. I think that's very important. Number 2 is to maintain a positive financial outlook. That's very important. This mindset is crucial to the process. Then don't wait for a new year. Don't wait for 2022 to get started. Start now. There's no better time than now to get started for next year, where you can start planning and doing things that can not only help you, but your family. And also take into consideration, we don't know what's coming down the pike here in the new year. So we can plan for it now, whether it's going out and purchasing more toilet paper or Scott towels or hand sanitizers, masks, whatever it happens to be. Let's do things early. Then remain financially flexible, because financial flexibility gives us that opportunity to invest in areas that we otherwise wouldn't have. Once we pay those debts off, then it's time to start moving the money around that you saved. Let's say if you have $5,000 or $10,000, perhaps you want to go out and invest in a nice life insurance policy that not only has dividends that it pays each year, but also has a death benefit as well, and making sure we have sufficient insurance for burial insurance and everything that we may need. And then also develop habits, new habits, and commit to the process. And primarily what this means is that we are going to start something new for ourselves. And what we're going to start new for ourselves is to really caring about what our financial situations is. We're not concerned about what the Joneses have. That's their business. We're going to be concerned about ourselves, focus on self, and then our families. Because once we become financially free and debt free, the stress goes away, depression goes away, anxiety goes away, and we're able to live our best life possible. We don't have to be a millionaire to be happy in life. After all, wealth is more than just money. But when we have our entire life together, that's when we're really wealthy. And we're not rich, but we're wealthy when we have a peace of mind, peace, we have love, we have caring, we have compassion, and we have understanding. And I think that's the most important thing that we can have. So as this particular episode is of Wealth Building Academy Livestream is about to end, learn a little bit more about my online course, because it really digs deep into money mindset strategies, and it will position you to really have a wonderful, wonderful life, not only your personal life, but your business life and your financial life. They all are interconnected. And again, this all comes down to having character, discipline, and also patience. So I'm out. Again, my name is Paul Lawrence Vann, your financial strategist, and I hope that you enjoyed today's live stream. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, and encourage your family, friends, and colleagues to tune in and view this particular episode. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.